Namaskar. Once again, warmly welcome on my YouTube channel. In the last session of marginal costing, we have discussed theoretical part and some important points of marginal costing. In this session, we will discuss some important formula for the marginal costing techniques and practical examples. So in the marginal costing, we require the formula for the selling price, contribution, profit volume ratio, break even point, expected sales to make profit or to make loss, margin of safety, and fixed expenses and also variable expenses. First formula, it is for the selling price. Company can determine selling price by fixed expense plus variable expense plus profit. It means total cost plus profit. Or company can determine it by fixed expenses plus variable expense minus loss. If the loss is there, then we can reduce from the total cost. Sometimes company can sell at not profit, not loss. It means fixed expense plus variable expense. So from the first formula, we can derive selling price minus variable cost is equal to fixed expense plus profit. And from the same formula, we can write selling price minus variable expense is equal to fixed expense minus loss. It means whenever we want to use S minus V, we can use F plus P instead of S minus V. Then contribution. Contribution is equal to selling price minus variable expense, or we can write there contribution is equal to F plus P. If the loss is there, we can write there contribution is equal to F minus L. Next, profit volume ratio. It is known as PVR. PVR we can calculate by contribution divided by sales multiply 100, or PVR is equal to change in profit divided by change in sales multiply 100. When more than 2 years information regarding profit and sales is given, in this case we can use this formula. It means change in profit divided by change in sales, and both the formula it is multiplied by 100 because PVR we can calculate in the percentage. After that, break even point. BP is equal to total fixed expense divided by per unit selling price minus per unit variable cost, or we can calculate with total fixed expenses divided by profit volume ratio. With the first formula, it means S minus V, we can calculate BEP in the units, and BEP we can calculate with PVR also, but we can get answer in the rupees. So whenever we use profit volume ratio in any formula, we will get answer in the rupees. Next, expected sales to make profit. So formula for this is F plus P divided by S minus V. In this formula, we will get answer in the units, or we can calculate same with the PVR also. So expected sales to make profit is equal to F plus P divided by profit volume ratio. With this formula, we will get answer in the rupees. Next, expected sales to make loss. So, we can calculate this with the formula of F minus L divided by S minus V. We will get answer in the units. Next, same we can calculate with the PVR. So, the formula is F minus L divided by PVR, and with the help of PVR we will get answer in the rupees. Next, margin of safety. Margin of safety is equal to actual sales minus sales at BEP. So, margin of safety is equal to difference between the actual sales and sales with the BEP. We can calculate margin of safety in percentage with formula margin of safety divided by actual sales multiply 100. It means margin of safety is equal to actual sales minus sales at BEP divided by actual sales and multiply with 100. So with this formula we can calculate margin of safety in percentage. Next, fixed expenses. Fixed expenses we can calculate with sales multiply PVR minus profit. If the loss is there, then formula is sales multiply PVR plus loss. Next, variable expense. Variable expense we can calculate from the contribution formula. So, variable expense is equal to sales minus contribution. Now, we will discuss the formula for the key factor. When material is key factor, we can calculate contribution per kilogram. So, contribution per kilogram is equal to per unit contribution divided by per unit kilograms. And when direct labor is key factor, we can calculate contribution per hour. So the formula is per unit contribution divided by per unit hours. So these are the formula we can use for the key factor. Now we will discuss example for the marginal costing. From the following information, find out break-even point in units and also in the rupees. The available information is per unit selling price rupees 100, per unit variable cost rupees 70, fixed expenses annual rupees 3 lakhs. It means total fixed cost rupees 3 lakhs. Now first we will calculate BEP in the units. So formula for the BEP in units is equal to total fixed cost divided by S minus V. Here S we can use per unit selling price and V we can use per unit variable cost. So in the amount the total fixed expenses 3 lakhs and per unit selling price 100, per unit variable cost 70. So 3 lakhs divided by 30, 10,000 units. Here S minus V is equal to contribution. So we can directly use contribution with this formula. Now we will calculate BEP in the rupees. So the formula for the BEP in rupees is, already we have calculated BEP in the units. So directly we can multiply with the per unit selling price. So BEP in the units multiply selling price per unit. So BEP in the units 10,000 multiply selling price rupees 100. So 10,000 multiply 100. Total BEP in the rupees 10 lakhs. Now we will see the example number 2. From the following information, calculate profit volume ratio and break-even point when selling price is reduced by 2.5%. The available information: cost of raw material per unit rupees 1146. Direct wages per unit rupees 654. Other variable cost 25% of prime cost. Contribution per unit rupees 300 and break-even point 720 units. Now you see in this example, variable expenses are given in the different form like material, direct wages and other variable costs. With this, contribution is also given and break-even point is given. So selling price is not given in this example. So first we have to calculate total variable expenses, then we will calculate selling price, then we can calculate fixed expenses with the help of break-even point. So required calculation number 1, total variable cost. Total variable cost is equal to cost of material 1146 plus direct wages 654. Make total, it is 1800. Now it is known as prime cost plus other variable cost 25% on prime cost. So 25% on 1800, it is 450. So make total, it is total variable cost rupees 2250. Now we will calculate selling price. Selling price is equal to contribution plus variable expense. Contribution is 300, variable expense 2250. So selling price rupees 2550. Now we will calculate fixed expenses. In this example, break-even point is given. So with this formula, we will calculate fixed expenses. So formula for BEP is total fixed expense divided by S minus V. BEP 720, total fixed expense is not given, so as it is, divided by selling price 2550 less 2250. So 720 multiply 300 is equal to total fixed cost. So the amount of total fixed cost is rupees 2,16,000. Now we will calculate the required answer. First, profit volume ratio is equal to contribution divided by sales multiply 100. Here the contribution is 300, selling price 2550 multiply 100. So PVR 11.76%. Now second answer, break even point when selling price is reduced by 2.5%. So first we have to calculate new selling price. So current selling price 2550 less 2.5%, it is 63.75. So new selling price rupees 2486.25. Now we can calculate break even point. So formula for the break even point is total fixed cost divided by S minus V. Total fixed cost 2,16,000 divided by new selling price 2486.25 less variable expense remains same 2250. So BEP is equal to 914.286 units. So in the round figure we can write that BEP is equal to 914 units. So in the next video we will see another examples of marginal costing. Take care. Thank you.